Well, how exciting is this going to be? Because we're talking Los Angeles, US, all the way to Switzerland and Zurich. And welcome, Katrin, to the Ladies Who Care series.
Thank you. Warm welcome, and thank you for having me, Mark, and dear audience. I'm excited, and hello, grüezi, from beautiful Switzerland, core Europe to US.
Just to tell the audience, I was like overly impressed and privileged to actually meet you in Davos recently. And we had a long, quick conversation because we got a lot of stuff into a short conversation. And I'm thrilled that you're here to share just share your experiences, your background, and all the great impact that you're making. So best way to start, as we always say, you're a five-time board member. You're the CEO of the Swiss Future Institute. We'll get to that in a minute, but tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from originally, where you are now. Um, Maybe something you've never told the world that you want to reveal now. That's always exciting, but you don't have to do that. But tell us a little bit about you, and then we'll go from there.
Excited being here, Mark. To me, oh my gosh, what I haven't told the world yet. That's a lot.
Mm,
Let's start easily. For me, culturally, genetically, I'm Asian, as those who are looking at us now can see. Practically, I'm grown up mixed. So part of my family is actually US, Las Vegas. Me
mm.
grown up in Hamburg, Germany, and thanks to the study scholarship IT finance MBA, I was coming to Switzerland, to the French speaking part. Switzerland has many languages as part of a country. I started at the French university part, and now my home base is Zurich, the German speaking part. That's cultural and education wise. Me as a person, easy. For me, I consider myself as an edutainer. I entertain and educate, yeah, being also a four-time university lecturer, such as about AI data analytics, leadership, and AI on board, and finance and AI, stuff like this. Others would say maybe a bit dry and uh, nerdy. For me, nerdy is very positive, so
It
thanks for
did.
that. Yeah, and I consider myself to finish with more things next to edutainer, community builder. I see and can sense, Mark, you are a strong community builder. I do similar things just for the petite Switzerland on the other side of the world, on two continents, Mark Katrin. And the third thing is I consider myself as a connector. I'm connecting the dots, tech data, people. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit also with respect to that early on. What were you like as a kid and a teenager? Were you an organizer even back then? Were you a techie back then? Were you involved in music, sports? What were you like?
Full of contradictions or full of combinations. Put it,
Oh, I like
frame
that.
it as you wish. Um, Somebody told me not boring, at least you're not boring, whether take it as an insult or compliment, depending on the relation, right? However, I had my quite silent moments, silence in the sense of seemingly only observing. I loved it as a kid and sometimes still today as an adult. In other moments, quite lively, outgoing, um, some elements reflecting upon still today. That is when people in Switzerland, if you knows me, thanks to social media and co and speaker and moderation mandates, when see me on stage, they immediately assume, hey, it's she's extrovert. But in private, I have actually my quite introvert side as well. So this remains from the kids on, creative, a bit nerdy, analytical, driven, but also loving to have some adventure. So I like testing, experimenting a lot. I liked music from playing piano. Okay, I had no choice, laughing about my Asian cliches, which I partly fulfill. Yes, I do. And and others like dancing, painting, and two mathematics, two languages, two to simply going out, trying new things, and taking early responsibility, trying out myself, play and learn, edutainment way. Yeah,
I,
that's
I
me.
I love it. You just reminded me. I remember when one of my sons was in high school, and one of the professors was combining geometry with dancing and how it came together. and it actually brought the dancers to better understand geometry and the geometry type of kids to see how dancing was really cool at the same time. And you've kind of put it all together, it seems.
Absolutely. And I saw, and it's not only just me, some like great mathematicians also were great musicians. So
Exactly.
I like to challenge other people and also myself. People seem to, and it's an easy way and evolutionary, it makes sense to put other people quickly in boxes, judging and so on. But at least ask it a second time. So you might be not just a good boss or leader, you might be so much more than that, looking at your sports, hobbies, passions, or even running a marathon, which is more than just an easy hobby since it shows your discipline and commitment in so many stuff. And this is, yeah, what I sort of live, yeah, and balance. I think it's no contradiction for me. Looking back, it's a fulfillment and the combination. Allow yourself to be a bit different and diverse in every means, and it's fun, and you can grow and profit from it from many ways, starting with skills. Yes, they are transferable. Experiences, yes. Making you stronger. Yes, you can use it for business too. And here we go.
And it's so fascinating because, and that's why we like to start to see how people were like as a kid, because the amount of information, the amount of knowledge, the amount of experiences you pick up in your education journey or as a kid taking on different things definitely does, as you say, impact your future leadership and success skills at the same time. And I do believe the balancing of trying all those things actually makes you better at leading in the future. And we'll get into it. But why do you find early education, number one, is so important? And tell us about what you were envisioning during your journey from a kid to education and whatnot. What were you thinking about back then as what's coming next?
Totally, Mark. For me, super honest with you, I did not know as a kid. And even when I was called to, study something, you finish your master degree, no matter what, there was no option to give up or to break and to take a pause or so on, at least in my family. Again, maybe an
Hey, I'm Jewish.
Asian
It's the same
cliche.
thing.
Yeah, but however, so going back then, I didn't know. I knew that I was quite curious. I can really do my things to an end, which is also something I encourage other, especially young people, at least give it serious try. It makes fun, yes, afterwards when you are trained and becoming really good in it. Before it makes not everyday fun to train things, whether it's for music, for sports, for climbing a mountain or whatever. Yeah. So for me, it was testing out. And then in early years, well, I played piano, as I said before, I had to. And then some part was fun, some part was not. So when I turned 12, it was 13. So getting a bit more difficult age. And so it was definitely not fun. So have a love-hate relationship in early years with some parts of education facing with me. Nevertheless, I had both sides. So I don't call it too much black white, but differentiate it in a way. For example, I knew it's a tremendous opportunity and I wanted and I love knowledge. This was clear for me as a kid. I really love knowledge in the sense of, hey, knowing more is better. Yeah, is somehow a privilege as well.
Yeah.
And being able to test so many things from dancing to kung fu to piano to nerdy stuff to yeah, well, this is definitely a privilege. So I took the opportunities I had, yes. But then others, on the other hand, I discovered also physical limitations. Yeah, like I play piano on the concert pianist level. Feel free to check my YouTubes if you like. And realistically, even if you're a good basketball player, if you are not that size, forget about it. Okay, so the same transferred to piano.
Sure.
My fingers, my hands are relatively short. So though I'm quick one, but you need to jump a lot more to simplify here. And therefore, it makes no sense to stuck on it forever. And it was not that interesting for me to end up as I don't know, one of a maybe best, but I don't know. So that was a clear limitation, face reality,
Mhm.
and so I made the best out of it. So the question was, what do you really wish, and combining it, what makes sense, what was the market demand in the real world, so you can make a living out of it, and maybe on top, speaking of leaders who care, Mark. making a difference, making an impact, and doing something a little bit good, not only to yourself over time, but to your community and to this world, right? And this in combination becomes clearer. So to end up that one, then I switched from not a pianist trophy, but I was a bar pianist during my studies time, which was super exciting. Yeah.
I
And
bet.
also experimenting many persons and situations I could learn from. And it was businessman, business IT finance. So if you like another side of yeah, my brain, my whole world, it was different. Yeah, if you have to do with IT rather than with classical pianists, it was a complete new world. But yeah, it just happened, and opportunities, serendipities, responsibility, and yeah, I studied to the end and was fun, and I made it, and somehow I fell in love also particularly with AI long before it was hot. So when it was still not hot already with data analytics and stuff like that, and then I yeah started a couple of years in consulting with a
Well,
bigger
let's
uh,
pause for a
and so
second.
on.
So we built the part that I love. For example, I know somebody that works with moms and dads on young kids from birth to three, and they find that from birth to three, you absorb and learn so much as a foundation for your future, which is another topic in itself. But a lot of the points you're making, I think, are fascinating because you were involved in a lot of different things. You started to hone in on stuff that you were more interested in and better at and whatnot, but the foundation was built, um, that all the things you did came into and supported what you decided to go further on in, whether you learn where things are derived from, whether you develop skills because of playing the piano and your strategic thinking or your coordination. All these things come valuable, and I think it's a good lesson. And you're a professor, a teacher. It's a good lesson for younger people to see that all those things, you might not know exactly what you're going to do back then, but all those things play a part in making you successful.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so
Um,
I really strongly encourage to those who have the opportunities. Yeah. Not everybody has. Uh,
right.
use it not only for yourself, and don't block yourself and don't block others. That is also your children, some, yeah, no judging, but some, I heard it many times, I saw it,
Mhm.
like if for example you are not so into math or not so into languages, French or English, only keep it to your native one. Yeah.
Mhm.
Come on. Yeah, then don't block your kids, don't block other kids, and don't say, hey, French is so stupid or math is nothing, it's so da da da. Yeah, don't. Yeah, it's such a pity. No, open up, try to be, if not positive, at least neutral, to give it a serious yeah opportunity. The world is full of opportunities if you are in that especially early age. And yeah, I could
Right.
start in early age. I had to start with piano with three, more or less not really your choice, but looking back it was really cool, like looking back from now. Definitely, yeah, you connect the
And
dots, you learn to learn and read in patterns. And on top, when you get older and are still playing, if you didn't give up by 8 or 12, then you can use the combinations and do improvisation. So the creative part and the structured pattern part are not either or, but can be used in a wonderful orchestra in many fields. Yeah,
And I think with what's happening in AI, I think all those backgrounds is going to have a major um, positive impact on the individual and being able to be successful in the future. And I want to segue a little bit here, but it's very much based on what we're talking about. Our business was built on the premise that leaders and their businesses can always do better when they're doing good at the same time, and that involves, and you were clearly an early leader on this, of realizing the importance of education and knowledge and experiences. We mentioned you're a five-time board member, you're the CEO of the Swiss Future Institute. You're also a lecturer, a top university lecturer. Major viewers, like over 60,000 views, out there. What's the impact of, exactly? Let's do that, and you got to celebrate. You got to celebrate. What's the impact you want to make, economic and social, and how do you see what you're doing, making that happen?
I said it before. I said it, say it one more time. It's not either or, but both. And it's scientifically proven. Even if you do good, it does not mean you do it for free and it makes no sense and it's just goodie bags or
Exactly.
something. Yeah, just to exaggerate, to make my point very clear. And scientifically, and now it comes again, maybe my nerdy side, if you like.
I like your nerdy side.
Business. Yeah, I like it too. Actually, for me, it's positive. I always try to emphasize when I was stating, yeah, it's quite positive. So, and in combination, it's superb because even better. Why? Because people, you are skilled, experienced, you have an intrinsic motivation drive, which should not be missing in whatever you do and you end up with. And you do something good. So people, human, we are at the end of the day all human, and some pattern are despite languages, whatever limits, quite the same. Yeah. That is, we are social. Yes, we are. Yeah. We are not a lonely island, end up
Mhm.
anywhere alone. Loneliness is actually bad for our health, mental
It
and
is.
physical.
It
There are
is.
other studies about it to keep it short. But to get to this point, definitely, it's proven. It's for me, it's a proven business case. You do something good, it has some impact, it reflects back. So it's a multiplicator that not only you do something good, that's a brilliant. That's where magic happen. One plus one, sometimes more than two. If we do together, build even a community and see the positive impact, the consequences, the productivity, all these positive feedbacks, what we can, and yes, everybody can make a little difference here. Yeah, at least try. Yeah, and then it's wonderful on business terms, on productivity level, on the psychologically, mental, and overall state, and it's giving so much back to many more, one to many, not one to one, one to many. On that level, there is a superb effect, multiple effect there. And this is what about simply using it? It's fun.
It
Use
is more
it. It's
fun.
fun.
You know,
Yeah.
I interviewed had a conversation with the CEO. It's probably been over a year now that said, you know, Mark, I'm having the best time ever being a CEO because I'm now allowed to be emotional. I'm allowed to be vulnerable. I don't have to pretend I know everything. And I learned how to trust my people, the people that I work with, and the fact that I'm trusting them, they're doing their best and they're performing better, which allows me to then even be more strategic and more supportive of them. And it works. And that truly is a part of a definition of a leader who cares, actually making it economically and social. So I think you're right on in that. And I want to segue a little bit on that, um, in the fact that we were launched on International Women's Day, our firm, 6 years ago, because we started our whole business based on women leadership, women empowerment, etc. Um, and we partner, with leaders who care about diversity, not just because, but because of what it brings to the table of experiences and things like that. Can you share with us a little bit, being a woman, an accomplished woman, a beautiful woman, and articulate woman, how you navigated and thrived in business with partnerships and whatnot, because it is different than a man, obviously. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yes, obviously, that is the little difference. Well, what should I say? In good times and in bad times, I felt it. It's starting with you are looking different. In my case, statistically, the combination of a young female and not being statistically, not even being white, as I'm looking Asian, can't change it. Though I did not grow up there. Yeah, I'm a foreign born, grown up one, and a mixed cultural one on top. But yeah, people see you. That's the first impression, like it or not. Yeah,
Mhm.
and so on based on different, yeah, what I told you before with boxes, with some expectations, with some sort of judgments. You can't change others, so you better change how you deal with it. So in good times and in bad times, from early kid on, yes, I felt it somehow to some point.
Sure.
When yeah, from school time on and so on, yeah, I felt to, yeah, be different, or at least look different, or get a bit of different questions. Like if I talk fluently other languages, or your German is quite good, which I normally respond. Statistically, rather older people say this to me, but many, many, many times over a lifetime. So my response naturally is normally, oh, well, your German is quite good as well. And they are like, okay, I am German.
Right.
So yeah, okay, fine. I didn't see that on your blonde hair and blue eyes. I didn't immediately spotted it, but yeah, now you say it. Of course, yeah, you got the point. So I try to do it in a charmful, polite way, but in my humor, you have a pretty much have your good humor as well, Mark. Yeah. So I think that's a way. That's one of many ways to deal with it. Going from childhood, then over university time, then for business, I certainly felt good and other spots as well. Yeah. And I try to, I'm a very optimistic person. I like to be responsible for my own actions and take responsibility. That's fine for me. So I don't expect things are going to be perfect, but I rather I'm the person who, okay, then let me make at least a little difference. Yeah, let me help you. Let us together solve this, whatever this is, this elephant in the room. Was anyway. And being a woman in tech in IT, yeah. I don't need to tell you that's pretty tough, and it's at least not the usual what you assume and so on. Whether you do the gamings, you should better not um, tell others that you are a woman, right? Then there are different feedbacks. Let me put it in this way. Yeah, and obvious one. Yeah, there's the obvious comments, and then where the hidden comments or bias. And by the way, not only men but also women are biased about women and others and so on. So
Absolutely.
it's a combination. At the end of the day, for me, I'm very optimistic. I'm a positive one who wants to do good. Yeah, not to complain about the bad, but to do good. And for me, I like to raise questions a bit with humor, as I mentioned before, a bit in combination to make other people aware of it. And then, as a nerdy person, I like to say a quote about science. So I say, hey, listen, it's no charity case, it's a clear business case. And here in Switzerland, we have 8.6 million people. It's a small, privileged country, it's a small one, and still, we have, in fact, over 50%, over half of the population are women. And depending on which data, from which years you take them, born in da da da, then we have actually women, not even more, but living 6 to 8 years, 8 years longer. That is theoretically being here quite long, longer productive, longer healthy, could work longer, could do something with the time longer, and so on. So use it, business, society. And last point on that one, Mark, we need it. How long can you afford to deny and to exclude? Hey, better include the good ones who really want to work, want to be productive, want to make a change. Let them, and it's gonna be fun together.
Hey, common sense is a brilliant thing, isn't it? And I had a partner at Deloitte early on in my career who told me, he said, you know, Mark, brilliance is simple. He said it might be a little bit of a complicated journey, but the actual answer, the brilliant answer is simple. And to what you just said, um, the knowledge, the experiences, the ideas, the perspectives, the nurturing or whatever, it doesn't make sense not to include women at all, obviously, and for business and everything else. In fact, on a whole different topic, which we'll do on another time, I think peace is only going to be achieved by women leading that. Maybe women and moms leading it because we need some of that peace in the boardroom and peace in the world probably as well. So moving on to tech a little bit because we've talked about it. You know, they say the fourth industrial revolution is really about tech. It's AI for sure now, and you know VR, AR, etc. But the fifth revolution is about humanity. Tell us your thoughts, your insights on AI and tech. You know, there's so many, you know, conversations about being scared of it or it's going to be the biggest impact ever. It's probably going to be a combination. Times are challenging. There's a lot of conflict, um, locally, globally, that's going on. But it still comes down to getting economic and social impact, economic results, social change at the same time. It always comes back to that because it won't be sustainable if it's not economically sustainable or viable, etc. So, what's your thoughts and insights on AI now and in the future?
That's a super big, interesting question, Mark.
Yeah,
Time has been always challenging, no matter when you were born. We just perceive it much more challenging
true.
because it's affecting us now, right? The world and the time we are now, it's full of opportunities. The challenge is to grab see those good ones and make the best out of it in a responsible way. Facing the technology, I'm really grateful. I'm now living, not 50 years earlier or later, but now. That is, change is definitely on a evolutionary, on a jump level, on a quant jump level
Yeah.
happening now, and we still can shape it. Yes, we are still at the beginning, yeah, and not going into all the hype or media and all these tools possibilities, next features, when is the next number five coming out, and so on, yeah, and the tremendous money investments, what's also being turned next to regulation and all these yeah, interesting discussions going on.
Yeah.
Fact is, we have plenty of opportunities. And to all the leaders who care, CEO and board members and entrepreneurs out there, um, I encourage you, it's not an IT topic. Don't delegate the AI topic. It's a CEO, it's a board level, it's an entrepreneur leaders topic. Yeah, you don't need to be expert in everything. Of course not. But as such as with finance, the basics, if you're an entrepreneur, you need to take care of your people, you need to pay taxes, you need to have a basic knowledge of these things. Transferred, let me invite you, it's the same. Become tech AI literate. Not only, but especially also those minorities listening to us. Women, yes, you don't need to study IT, in fact, to know the basics and to use it for your own profile. Yeah, to get the next job, the next promotion. It's very interesting. Yeah, and use it also. As a data friend, I would always like to open up the data. I'm also for data quality. Yeah, so let me check the data, what's coming from input, output. I'm here to have a very as fair as possible base and to use the opportunities in a responsible way. And finishing with that one, Mark, that is early childhood or early young people at least. Um, educate yourself, educate, test, do something, yeah, and really take some basic responsibility, which is also tech. Yeah, days happen so fast, yeah, that you watch some streaming movies, always time to watch, right, and then the sofa, and in between a bit of jobbing. Well, what about you only take 20 minutes a day to educate yourself? Yeah, it will be tremendous. And it's also shown by science studies. It makes a lot more at the end of the day as impact than one day, 1 hour. Yeah, but every day, a few hours, like with sports, it's not born. It's like a muscle. You can train it and combine it with leadership who care, with responsible tech AI literate leadership, and you can use it even for your small business to drive your efficiency and know what you talk about. Test it, train it. It starts with you. Educate yourself.
Yeah, it's beautiful how you put that together. And what I've found also with really good leaders out there is they're realizing that there are going to be layoffs and there are going to be changes, and they are going to make more money because of the layoffs and the amount they save. But some of them are talking to us right now about how do they allocate some of those extra incomes, extra revenues to maybe employees that can be upskilled, but also maybe employees maybe can't be upskilled, but maybe they can do some good stuff in the community. Maybe they can be involved helping teachers, helping caregivers, building gardens with schools around the country that the companies are supporting them. Some might call it socialism, but they're supporting them with some salaries to do that as well, and take advantage of AI in that respect too. So I see some fascinating stuff happening with, again, economic and social coming together and using AI, even with layoffs because of AI, using it to maybe make communities happier and families happier and healthier like never before. So I love what you're saying, about that. And last question I want to ask here, because in LA we say you got to keep them wanting more so we can do a sequel. So we might have to do a sequel here, and type of thing. But I want to ask you, you are the CEO of the Swiss Future Institute, as we talked about. Um, I'd like to know what you're grateful for with everything that's happened in the last years. You had a pandemic, and now we're already well into 2025. What are you most grateful for? And what kind of golden nugget, hopeful thinking, what are you hopeful for in the future? What kind of golden nugget would you share with the audience for the future?
I am grateful for, and I try my best to remind myself and also my best friends, peers to remind me. So stay grounded, no matter how successful, however you define success, right?
Right.
Most people do it materialistically, some exterior, not in intrinsic very much. And I also do meditation, have my quiet moments, my introvert boring moments, for me very
Those aren't
fulfilling from
boring.
outside. Not, yeah, like absolutely, yeah. You don't see much at the outside, but it's happening a lot inside. So I really appreciate and remind myself I'm quite grateful that I end up here. So I'm not only surviving, but I'm living. Yeah, and I have a few opportunities I use in combination, not only bringing myself, but also community helping others. I live what you just mentioned before. The combination from early, if you like, to now to adulthood. I really living that, and I think that's a tremendous cool thing. I need to, yeah, really reflect upon to making that the best way I can. My golden nugget is definitely to all our listeners, dear audience, and those watching us here live is the following. You are the ultimate producer of your life. Be responsible. It starts with you. Change happens anyway. The question is, you want to be part of it, you can shape it. Yeah, you can at least have it. There's no guarantee for nothing in this world, but at least try, at least have a goal, then you can match it, you can fulfill it, otherwise forget about it. Yeah, and all these tiny many things make a big sum in life, and this is what is life. Yeah, while you're planning, while you're thinking about yesterday, no, life is really happening now. So being a leader who cares, who makes a change, whether as an small entrepreneur or as a big leader. Yeah, it doesn't matter whether as a board member, as an investor, as a student, maybe listening to us as well. Education is a large part. Responsibility mindset is the even larger part for me, where the orchestra comes together. So I'm not interested in your degree, if you like to put it in these words, but I'm interested in you as a personality. I'm not interested in this question, oh, where are you coming from? I'm interested in where are you going? What's your goal? What difference do you want to make in life? And vision. And yes, make an impact. Whenever you see opportunities, help each other. Yeah, it doesn't cost you anything. It will be normally paid back 10 times in gratitude. And many people thinking back of you on the way to the top, lend a helping hand and make a difference. From AI tech to responsible humanity. And I invite you, start with that today.
Beautiful. You know what I'm most grateful for right now? That I have a really good new friend who is a leader who cares, on the other side of the world, and but very close nonetheless. And I'm actually hopeful because of the same thing. So thanks for being you. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for being on the Leaders Who Care series and being a true leader who cares. And we will see you soon.
Wonderful, Mark. Thank you.